All right, if you're thinking about selling your home in Northeast Arkansas this year, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what the entire process looks like from the time you decide on what you're going to do to the time that you close on the house and hopefully get a pretty good paycheck. If you've never sold before, I'm just going to warn you right now, there's a reason why they don't make too many TV shows based on selling a home, but rather it's all about buying a home, because buying a home can be this glorious, exciting time, and then selling a home can almost seem like this really scary nightmare that you're having. But done with the correct strategy and right professional, you can make a lot of money and get through this stressful period of time. The first part of selling your house is the decision phase, and oftentimes people think they want to sell, when in reality, if they knew some of the factors that we asked them whenever starting this process, it might actually have them reconsidering. Most people that decide to sell move because of space, location, or just maybe a change of life with a job or family members. And the first mistake people jump into is figuring out how much their house is going to sell for. And the first mistake that sellers make whenever selling a house is they just jump straight to price and how much money can I make during this transaction, when in reality, we need to slow down and figure out timeline, what your motivation is, and obviously what success looks like at the end of the tunnel. So before we talk about price, we need to figure out what this sale is actually going to do for you. The second step of selling a home is figuring out a detailed pricing strategy. This is where meeting with a realtor can come into play. By the way, if you want to book an appointment to talk about how to sell your home, send me a message. All my details are down below. There's a difference in what your home is worth on paper and what it might actually sell for in today's market. They're two completely different numbers. I'm not going to go into all the details in this video, but sometimes people end up being disappointed because they'll look at a piece of paper online and figure out price per square foot, or they might even hire an appraiser to come out before they even talk with a realtor to figure out what their home is worth. And unfortunately, the realtor and the appraiser might differ, because an appraiser might tell you, yeah, your home's worth $200,000. But a realtor might come in and tell you that there's 3 homes on the market in your neighborhood that offer more than what your home does at 200, and they've been on the market for 100 days and they've not sold. Well, can you really expect your home to sell for 200 right now? So the question then becomes, what can I sell my house for right now? Not what your home is worth. And this is why a detailed pricing strategy matters. Typically, people overprice their home, therefore the home sits on the market longer. Then, statistically speaking, they end up taking less for the home than what they could have done by pricing it aggressively to generate multiple showings, therefore getting multiple offers and perhaps creating your own little bidding war for your property. And the reason I know this is because it's been a proven strategy for our sellers here in Northeast Arkansas. We've been able to take homes that have sat on the market for 180 to 300 days with no showings, and in the first 30 days get a full price offer with multiple different people interested in it. The third stage of selling a home is to actually prepare your home to hit the market. In this market, little things can go a long way, and the little things that you refuse to take care of up front can actually cost you a lot of money. Buyers feel like they're already overpaying for interest rates, therefore they typically tend to be a little picky when buying the biggest asset that they've ever bought in their life, rightfully so. Of course, you have to set expectations properly, but painting that wall or fixing that portion of the flooring or redoing some light fixtures for a very inexpensive cost from Amazon might make your home go from a mediocre listing to the one that everybody is hooting and hollering for. Another topic that people miss is cleaning and decluttering before you put your home in the market for thousands of people to see. First impressions in this market are everything, and we want to be able to help you capitalize on that. That way you can take advantage of it. And look, you don't need to fully remodel your house, but presentation really does matter. Buyers don't typically see potential. They just see the condition that it's in right now. After you've done that, that's kind of whenever you go live on the market. You'll see your house on Zillow, Realtor.com, the MLS, etc. This is where realtors and buyers will be able to actively see your home on the market. We get the photos taken of your house, the home hits the market, and then of course that's when showings begin. You start biting your nails, you start hoping and praying that somebody comes and gives you a really good offer on that property. The first 2 weeks can either make or break the direction that this listing heads. During the showing and feedback stage is kind of where people begin to feel the weight of selling a house. Let's pretend you've showed it 5 times and you've not really got any offers yet, and it's been maybe a couple weeks. Well, sell, that's kind of where this whole antsy, motivational feeling kind of starts to dwindle a little bit. You also have to realize that your house is not going to be for everybody, and that's part of it. Not everybody that walks through your house is going to love everything about it, right? And so you also need to keep that in mind whenever you're going throughout this process, because there are going to be people that don't like your house, and that's okay. And feedback is important, and your agent should be able to provide you at least bi-weekly updates. And during this stage, we want to make sure that there's nothing that we can control that might be keeping somebody from buying the house. Like if it has weird smells, we want to be able to provide that feedback from the agents to you. That way we can maybe get ahead of this problem that might be a common denominator from keeping someone from selling or buying that property. Then, of course, let's pretend after a couple showings, we finally get an offer. And this is where the first set of negotiation comes. And oftentimes in offers nowadays, buyers are going to ask for the moon in the back. It's part of it. They feel obligated to, but that's where counter offers and negotiation skills come to play. You're going to see things like closing costs. They're going to ask for repairs. They're going to ask for timelines to be met. At the end of the day, just because you get an offer for a certain price or certain terms does not mean that you have to accept that. This is just where the negotiation table begins. At the end of the day, I'm concerned about the bottom line number. So with every offer that we present you, we always show you a net sheet and tell you every little detail with this offer, what it's going to mean practically for you before you accept it or counter it. Assuming we make it through that stage and you actually accept an offer, that's kind of when we have this under contract stage. This is where the inspector comes if the buyer gets one and rips your house apart and points out all the negatives, and to which the buyers sometimes ask for repairs to be made at this point of the process. And then after that, you'll have the appraisal. Typically, they get termite policies provided by the seller if you have one. And so if you don't already have a termite policy, typically you're going to see that in an offer. Basically, just where the termite company says, hey, there's no active termites in this house, and then typically the sellers will transfer their policy over to the next homeowners. That way they don't have to restart the entire policy process. Getting under contract is not the finish line, it's just the middle. So if you've ever seen somebody post pending or under contract as a realtor on social media, this is a stage that they're referring to. And then of course you've got the closing process. This is kind of where all the ducks are getting in a row and all the I's are dotted and all the T's are getting crossed. By this point, you probably signed so much paperwork that your email is just full of clutter, and not to mention you're kind of stressed out to the max because you might have had to do so many repairs or might have had to renegotiate the price after the under contract process. At this point though, hopefully we can see the checkered line in our sights. And oftentimes sellers don't expect selling to be an emotional process. They think, oh, I'm just gonna put my home in the market, put the sign out in the yard with the realtor, and all of a sudden all my problems are gonna go away. But unfortunately, selling is not like that. Again, I started this video off and I told you there's a reason why they don't make movies and TV shows about people selling houses, but it's actually about buying them and rehabbing them. And so oftentimes the selling process can seem like an emotional roller coaster. 1 second you're happy, 1 second you get hit with this demand from a buyer that wants a new roof because there's holes in it and you just didn't know about. Well, that's part of it. You're having to deal with insurance adjusters, and maybe you're having to call a plumber out here to fix this leak, and maybe you're having to negotiate the price once more, already having set on the market for 65 days. It can be a lot at the seller. Thankfully, because of our proven strategies, we've figured out loopholes around most of the common problems that sellers run into when trying to get top dollar for their property. So if you've been thinking about selling a home, maybe you just don't know what to do or where to get started, or maybe you want some advice on maybe the condition of your home now and how to maybe get it to the point where you could sell it for top dollar, send me a message. All my details are down below. I tell people this all the time. If you want a realtor to come over and tell you all that you want to hear, probably not your guy. But if you want somebody that's going to at least, convey transparency to you and tell you kind of the things that you're going to need to do to get top dollar to the house, then I'm your guy. But if you're looking for somebody like a yes guy that's just going to tell you everything you want to hear, I'm probably not him. But again, all my information's down below. You can book a one-on-one call with me. You can view my website. You can send me a message. Whatever you want to do, I am supposed to be a local resource for you here in Northeast Arkansas. So if that's you, send me a message. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment something that you learned, and subscribe for more videos like this.